Welcome to another exciting edition of Backwoods Teacher. Okay, today we're going to be talking about James Madison as part of our little mini-series on the three presidents leading up to Andrew Jackson, and those presidents are Madison, Monroe, and John Quincy Adams. Madison was the man who is considered to be the father of the Constitution. He designed and wrote and designed much of it. You can tell this from some of his quotes such as, "The truth is that all men having power ought to be mistrusted." And from this idea comes, or from this quote, it's where we get the idea that government should be divided, no set of powers should be entrusted to one part of the government, and that the government should be changed frequently. He also said, in no instance have the churches been the guardians of the liberties of people. This does not mean that Madison was against religion. We don't know anything about his beliefs one way or another on that, but he comes from a time when the churches had been abusive with their authority. Every word decides a question between power and liberty. And Madison is, again, the man that shaped the Constitution, and he was very keenly aware of what he was doing. He's a Democratic Republican from Virginia. He serves 2 terms. He was Secretary of State under Thomas Jefferson. He's part of the landmark Marbury versus Madison case, and his wife was Dolly Madison, who was as social and likable as he was standoffish. Louisiana and Indiana join the Union while he is president. Next, we have a comparison of 2 people here that we're going to just sort of use to introduce the War of 1812. When James Madison is president, the U.S. and Great Britain get into a second war, the War of 1812. And people often take this war as being a boring war. It's one of the forgotten wars, one that, it's old and stuffy, and there's really nothing exciting about it. But I did a little reading into this war, and it turns out there is some excitement. Let's take a look at an actor from today and see, what's exciting about him. We have this guy named Taylor Lautner. He plays a fake werewolf. He's slightly cooler than Bieber just because he at least is a fake werewolf. Here's his best quote. "Do I look good in this?" He has a sister named McKenna. He has a personal makeup artist and hairdresser. He uses exfoliant. He was a water boy for his high school softball team. He lost a fight to Mr. Dave Barry, who took Taylor to the ground and squeezed his nose until he cried, "Biology is awesome." Taylor later talked smack on Mr. Barry on Facebook to all his 13-year-old fans. He is scheduled to lose his first mixed martial arts fight against someone named Keely the Kleenex Coleman. Okay, as I was saying, the War of 1812 is actually pretty exciting. Let's take a look at this snazzily dressed gentleman over here. This is Oliver Hazard Perry. Let's think about that name. That is his real name, by the way, Oliver Hazard Perry. I don't know what Taylor Lautner's real name is. It's probably like Taylor Schniggelworth or something, but Oliver Hazard Perry, yeah. Here's his best quote. "We have met the enemy, and they are ours." This is the kind of guy you want playing Halo with you. This is the kind of guy you want playing Call of Duty with you. He's the hero of the Battle of Lake Erie. His ship, the Lawrence, was destroyed during this battle. So he's on a ship. The British are wailing on his ship. They are shooting cannonballs through it. They smash the daylights out of it. But he doesn't surrender. No, instead what he does is he looks around for an option. He finds 4 of his men who aren't dead or wounded. They jump into a boat. They row under cannon fire to another American ship that was out of range of the British cannons. He boards this ship, gets on this ship, goes back, and takes out all of the British ships, causing them to surrender, an entire British fleet. That's like a pretty big deal because the British almost never lost battles like that. So this guy's pretty awesome. He doesn't back down. He does his own stunts. He doesn't have a hairdresser. And let's see, later on in life, these are some things that he went on to do. He got into an argument with the Marine commander who challenged him at duel, mostly because Oliver Hazard Perry slapped him. The officer fired first and missed. Perry just refused to fire at this point. He gets shot at. He's like, it's cool, you satisfied your honor. That's the kind of man he was. Moving right along. Okay, some things that I want you to know with the War of 1812. Geography plays a big role. The British come back and attack the U.S., which is still mostly on the eastern seaboard. That's next to the Atlantic, which is an ocean, boys and girls. It's an ocean. And Canada plays a large role in this because some of the battles that take place in the territory and the waters between America and Canada. So the St. Lawrence River, which has nothing to do with your high school, but is the passageway to the Great Lakes, is a key area that the British want to control because they need to be able to supply their ships on the Great Lakes. If they can control the Great Lakes, they can also cut off the U.S. and surround them and join up with their Native American allies. So places like the St. Lawrence River, Toronto, Lake Erie, Vincennes, that sounds familiar, New Orleans, Washington, D.C., and a place called Fort McHenry all play a big role. There are 3 circles on there. Those are 3 of the key U.S. battles that were victories. Most of the other battles the British won, but those 3 are key battles that I want you to know. 2 of them are lakes, and 1 of them is a port. Next, in one of our final things here, we have another gentleman that I'd like you to know a little bit about. His name is William Henry Harrison. He was engaged in much of the fighting in the West against the British Native American allies. And he met with Tecumseh, one of those leaders, to address the demands that Tecumseh's Confederacy had, and they met in some place called Vincennes. Before the Battle of Tippecanoe, he meets with Tecumseh near Vincennes, and while he's there, Tecumseh gives an order to kill the outnumbered Harrison. Harrison had soldiers with them, but not that many. But one of the natives that was friendly to Harrison pulls the hammer back on his pistol. He cocks his pistol. Harrison has time to pull out his weapons and stop the slaughter. This leads to the Battle of Tippecanoe. Okay, and we will do these in class separately, so we don't need to do these right now. Thank you, boys and girls, so much for listening. And let's finish up this exciting presentation with a lovely photo of some Asian carp and some groovy music.